All right, friends. So NTI day 2 was similar to NTI day 1. I hope that you can see the board kind of well. I'll turn the light off real quick to see. This is going to kind of be a long video to kind of explain what we're doing. I am going to break down this assignment for you. So I'm going to really go through the assignment. You can kind of see it. I'm going to read today for you. Let me see if I can put this up on my share. I'm going to read this for you today in hopes that might help a little bit. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. So your assignment was to go through and read document 2. After you go through and read document 2, you're supposed to fill out that graphic organizer. So I'm going to walk through the reading, the graphic organizer, doing some labeling like we did the other day in class. Remember, this is so the same thing that we were doing with those temperature rising documents and climate change, okay? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to read, I'm going to mark some key things that I really want you all to see, help you figure out what the claim and thesis were, and then you all can fill out that graphic organizer, and I'm also going to fill out the source 2 with you, okay? So, source 2, does homework improve student achievement? Since 1987, educators around the world have conducted studies to answer a simple question. Hold on, phone ringing. Okay, sorry, folks. Does homework, okay, it says to answer a simple question. Does homework help or hinder a student's ability to learn? Some of you might not know what hinder means, so that would be, well, of course, it's not going to let me write on it. That would be an excellent thing to, if you were actually annotating on paper pencil, don't worry about annotating today. Don't annotate at all because it's not letting you do it in here. Don't worry about it. Does homework help or hinder a student's ability to learn? Hinder means, does it hurt them? Okay. As simple as the question seems to be, the answer is quite complex. So many variables affect student achievement. Although most Canadian parents would agree that some homework is valuable, difficult questions remain. How much homework is necessary? Does homework really help my child? In 2009, so if you can see that that's the introduction paragraph. In 2009, the Canadian Council on Learning analyzed 18 studies to update Harris Cooper's 2006 research on this continuous topic. These studies suggest that some homework does help students to achieve, but only in the case of some children, 2, for a reasonable period of time, and 3, only if the homework is meaningful and engaging and it requires active thinking and learning. Okay. Research suggests that 2 exceptions for homework for elementary children is not beneficial and does not boost achievement levels. The first exception is in the case of a student who is struggling to complete classroom tasks. The second is when students are preparing for a test. For example, students might review a list of words for 10 minutes in preparation for a spelling test the next day. Parental help with homework appears to be beneficial only if the child has already learned the concepts and simply needs more time to complete the assignments. Homework for most elementary children should be limited to 30 minutes per night. In fact, some evidence suggests that K through 4 students who spend too much time on homework actually achieve less well. For students in grades 6 and 7, up to an hour of meaningful homework per night can be beneficial. More than that can be detrimental. Okay, so reading through those first 3 paragraphs, I want to go ahead and fill out our graphic organizer. With that being said, I have to go over to my desktop and actually work on the document. So give me a second. I'm going to pull up your assignment. Your assignment looks like this. Okay, so the first question that you have on here was, what is the author's claim regarding homework? So if you can look and see what do you think the author's claim was regarding homework? The first question I have up here is, does the author believe students should have homework? That's the first question. If I'm reading this document, I still say, yes, the author thinks that students should have homework. They give some exceptions to that or some guidelines to that, but I still think they think that students should have homework. So on this very first line that's up here, I'm going to highlight yes. It says circle one, but clearly you're not able to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight that for us. Maybe. Here we go. There. Highlight yes. It says, what is the author's claim regarding homework? Write their thesis statement here. So we go back to our reading, and I want you to really see what they're saying about homework. In 2009, the second paragraph, a Canadian Council on Learning analyzed 18 studies to update Harris Cooper's 2006 research on this continuous topic. These studies suggest that some homework does help students achieve, but only in the case of some children, only for a reasonable period of time, and only if the homework is meaningful and actively producing active thinking. That's the thesis statement. So not only, I'm just going to copy and paste from our reading into my homework document. So copying that sentence, Control C, back over into my assignment, Control V, and pasting, and getting rid of some of the unnecessary box here. Okay, that's the thesis statement. What is the author's claim regarding homework? It wants to know, what does the author truly think homework is good for? That's what they think it's good for. It's good for some kids. It's not good for other kids. So that's what we put. It says, what are the next box that we have, what are two of the reasons this author presents to support their claim? So let's go back to the reading. We didn't get through all of it, but now that we kind of know what they're doing, let's go ahead and read the rest of the document. Research suggests that with two exceptions, homework for elementary children is not beneficial. Oh, we already read that. I'm sorry. More things change in high school. Most studies involving high school students suggest that students who do homework achieve at a higher rate. Once again, however, the amount of time spent on homework should be reasonable, and the homework should be suited to the child's ability to learn. Based on his research, Cooper suggests that this rule of thumb, homework should be limited to 10 minutes per grade level. In other words, that could also be a claim, by the way. In other words, grade 1 students should do a maximum of 10 minutes of homework per night. Grade 2 students should do 20 minutes, and so on. Expecting academic students in grades 12 to occasionally do 2 hours of homework in the evening, especially when they are studying for exams. Completing a major midterm project or wrapping up end-of-year assignments is not reasonable, but insisting that they do 2 hours of homework every night is expecting a bit much. Research suggests that homework benefits high school students most in the following situations. When it is used to enhance short-term retention, such as reviewing for an exam, rather than learning new content. When it involves constructive activities, such as active problem solving or working on a creative project, as opposed to rote or repetitive tasks. When students understand the content but need more time to complete work that day that they began in class, and when the homework is assigned to the whole class as opposed to just a few learners who are deemed to require remedial help. At the same time, most studies agree that homework benefits lower achieving students more than it does high achievers. While the debate continues, one thing remains clear. Children who receive support and encouragement for their parents are more likely to realize their educational goals than children who do not receive each support. For that reason, assigning students some homework can be beneficial. However, much homework a child should do and how often are questions that can be answered only after taking into account the unique needs of the child and his or her learning style, goals, and challenges. Cooper's basic rule of thumb is a useful guide. However, the determining and the right amount and type of homework for their child, parents should ask the child what he or she needs and work with the child's teacher. So, looking back at these few paragraphs here, we need to see what we think the two reasons that they bring to the table. Now, in this article, it's a little bit different because they bring out 3 exceptions within their claim. Those exceptions are supporting those reasons, and they are telling you why they think that students should only be required for those things. So it says, only in the case of some children. Do we have any reasons in the writing or that the author brings up that support that homework does help achievement, but only in the case of some students? Let's go back and find that, what they're saying. Homework for elementary children is not beneficial and does not boost achievement. But then it comes down to, is the second when students are prepping for an assignment, blah, blah, blah. Comes down to say, in fact, evidence suggests that K through 4 students who spend too much time on homework actually achieve less well. But for grades 6 and 7, up to an hour of meaningful homework can be beneficial to them. That's going to be one of your first things that you can copy and paste into that next thing. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to copy and paste this these last 2 sentences, Control C over here, Control V. Now, another thing that it says is only for a reasonable period of time and only homework that is meaningful and engaging. So looking back at our paper here, it says things change in high school. Students suggest that students who do homework achieve at a higher rate. Once again, however, the amount of time spent on homework should be reasonable and suited to the child's learning. I'm going to copy and paste that in too, because that's also a reason that they give for those exceptions. I copied too much. So, do you see what I mean about the reasons here? Then it says, what evidence do they give to support? So all down here, it says research suggests that homework benefits high school students. You can copy and paste all of this in as evidence because it's research that they did from the ATA magazine and specifically from Cooper's rule of thumb that they're talking about for homework times. So copy and paste all of that in for evidence. Then it says, what was the overall tone of the article? Do you think the overall tone was super happy, determined to get homework done, yada, yada? Or do you think the overall tone of the article would have been something along the lines of, yes, we think homework is good, but let's come back and make sure it's actually something that could be beneficial. So I would go with something along the lines of a voice of reason, because they do say that homework is beneficial, but they come back to say homework is only beneficial for certain kids for a certain amount of time, and so on. So my answer for that is I'm going to say in the text, it says that only certain students should be the ones getting homework. And I'm going to put age, time allotted, parental support, etc. I'll go back and change those in a second. And it also states that students should only have so much time of homework in the evenings as well. Okay, I'm not going to go back and give you the quote. I don't expect you to give me a quote from that either. That's okay. All right, this answer right here is a good answer. Then it says give an objective summary. Don't even worry about that. I would much rather have this information up here than I would have your objective summary of the article. So you can actually, if you want to, go back through and delete this. So I'm going to delete that whole row. Delete row. So then I want you to move on to source number 3. So now that you have my modeled example for source 2, I want you to go back and read the source 3 reading, which comes down to, does homework actually help students? I am not going to do a video on this one. I want you to kind of go back through and see what you like about that video or this video that I'm posting now. If you have questions regarding source 3, still let me know. But I don't really want to walk through another video of me doing the same thing. I want to see what you guys know. So let me know what questions you have, and we'll go from there. Okay. Thank you. I will talk with y'all soon.